Hello and welcome to our review of Veronica Mars. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And this week we're discussing the episode Look Who's Stalking. This episode originally aired April 25th, 2006. Let us start off with the number one film at the box office this week, Dave. Any guesses?
Yeah.
It's allegedly a comedy starring Robin Williams.
Hmm. What was he doing at around that time? Because he was still kind of around. Had his popularity still going on with a couple of films that he'd been doing, but again, around that time.
This is not one
Uh,
of his best films, let me put it that way.
okay, so that moves up into that bracket. Uh, Comedy, I believe you said.
Allegedly,
Um,
yeah, it claims that it's a comedy.
like supposedly my thought is one of the Doctor Dolittle movies, but I'm not exactly sure which one.
No, it is a film called RV. Yeah, yeah, nobody remembers this. Okay, so this is a movie that I'm surprised wasn't good because it has a great cast.
Huh.
So it's Robin Williams, Jeff Daniels. Who else is in this? It's got Will Arnett. Like this has like a genuinely good comedic cast. It's just apparently the script is terrible.
Hmm. Because I vaguely remember from the poster and whatnot that there was something like that was on, but whether or not it was the case of they did a similar sort of story a couple years later on with a different cast or something,
There
maybe that's what got me
was
confused.
there was a movie similar. Oh, what was that movie called? It came out like
Like
10.
something related with camping.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was like 10 years after this though. But I can't.
Okay.
It was about a family in like an RV. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called though. Anyway,
Hmm.
so that let us move on. Number one song in America, "It's Still Dead, Bad Day" by Daniel Powter, because
Hmm.
one hit wonder. He's got to hang on to it as long as he can.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to video games, and my God, do we have some big ins here? Okay, April 20th, if you had a Game Boy Advance and you lived in Japan, you could pick up a little game called Mother 3.
Yes. The one game that would very much be appreciated over on this side of the lake, but they did not bother to bring it over in any sort of respect.
No, for some reason, it still has not been ported over. Which, at this point,
Uh,
I just don't know why. Like, you think you would just, in order to shut the fans up, you'd just be like, fine, it's on the Switch eShop, just go buy it.
Supposedly, with that, and again with the other particular things that go on with it, the supposed fan group that has a download of it that you could supposedly get, that's supposedly unofficial and hasn't been taken down from Nintendo. And it's honestly just weird, though it is also a case of the game is a little bit weird and tremendously depressing.
Yeah, but, like, all the games in that series are a bit weird.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Earthbound is a
Pretty much its
bit weird.
Yeah, pretty much its concept. Kind of the case of let's make an RPG. Let's make it weird. Like weirder than typical RPGs? Yes.
Yeah, like, these games aren't exactly, like, standard issue, like, RPGs. Anyway, for
Hmm.
some reason, that still hasn't come over to North America.
Nope.
April 24th, if you had a PC, you could go to the store and pick up Black and White 2 Battle of the Gods, which was an
Ah, yes.
expansion
I
for
remember this one.
Black and White 2.
Yes.
I never played the Black and White games, I don't think. Maybe I played the first one a bit, but I don't remember playing
Now, in
this
this
one.
case, I vividly remember playing two. Case of one of our buddies had it on his system that randomly messed with while we hung out.
Okay, I don't remember this one at all. April 24th, as well, if you had a PS2 or GameCube, you could pick up Rampage Total Destruction.
Yeah, the Rampage series still kind of hanging on. Don't specifically remember it, but still nice to see that was still hanging around.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we haven't got another Rampage release because it's been a while at this point.
I
Um,
think it's mostly a question of who the heck holds the rights to it, and just the case of would they have the money, time, and resources to put at least something out for it.
so it looks like the last game and currently the publishing rights are held by Warner Brothers, so we're never getting a new one. Never mind.
Yeah, well, before we get a supposed movie and
They did a movie.
supposed other particular deals that they'll try to do with it, if there's any sort of popularity with it, then
You must not remember they did a movie in 2018 and it starred The Rock.
oh no, I think I'm starting to somewhat remember. In the case of, was that the Rampage movie or was that something different?
It was technically called Rampage. I don't know how good it was because I never went and saw it.
Mm.
April 25th, if you had a PS2, you could head to the store and pick up Ace Combat Zero: The Belkin War. Another entry
Yeah.
into the Ace Combat series, which apparently is very well reviewed, but I've never played any of them.
Yeah. Again, flight simulators. Most likely has a thing, but still a case of, yeah, not my jam.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. Also on April 25th, if you had a PS2, you could pick up, oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce this one, uh, Atelier Iris 2, The Azoth of Destiny. My god.
Yes. Yes, this particular series. The particular one that I vaguely remember us looking into, but the only one thing that completely reminds our entire group about it is Daryl.
Ah, okay. Understood.
Though it's the case of the one that we particularly played, I believe was 3 that was released time after this one, but nevertheless, interesting enough, especially with its battle style.
Okay. April 25th, if you had a Nintendo DS, you could pick up Guilty Gear Dust Strikers.
And somewhat understandable, but still kind of questioning with putting a fighting game on the DS. Though, I suppose with being on the DS, there is some connectivity to it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Mm.
April 25th, also on the Nintendo DS, you could pick up Lost Magic, which was a
Eh,
real-time strategy game on the DS, which seems like a weird pairing, but who knows?
yeah, kind of the case of handheld transferring and the connectivity and whatnot to it, but then the case of how well would all that stuff work?
Yeah, real-time strategies usually don't adapt well to consoles.
Yeah.
As well, on April 25th, if you had a PS2, Xbox, or PSP, you could pick up a little game called Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, understandable. Not exactly sure what made this one interesting from the other particular ones. Though this is supposedly the ninth in the series.
Yeah, and apparently, like, it seems to have reviewed fairly well, so it was probably pretty decent at the time. I just don't remember this game at all.
Yeah.
Moving on, also on April 25th, if you had a PS2 or Xbox, you could pick up Winback 2 Project Poseidon.
Yeah, I got nothing. Like supposedly a shooter, supposed thing, but again, with the juggernauts that are kind of around at the time, who knows how well this would have stand out.
Yeah, it just reading like the description and stuff, it sounds like a very generic shooter, and it didn't review very well.
Hmm.
So yeah, so those were the video games that were coming out at the time. Let us get back to the episode. Alrighty. So, the episode starts off with Veronica being diagnosed with chlamydia.
Ooh.
Yeah. At school, there is a notice that the prom has been cancelled due to drunken shenanigans.
Not too surprising, but yeah, what did the school district expect?
Keith finds Woody in a room with an unconscious high school girl. Gia asks Veronica for help in tracking a stalker, and Veronica accepts. Kendall threatens Keith for her hard drive. Veronica and Gia track the car and find out that it belongs to Leo D'Amato, previously known as Deputy Leo.
Oh.
Veronica asks Logan about whether Duncan was sleeping with anyone else, and he invites her to the Alterna prom. Veronica talks to Leo about Gia, and he says that he was hired to watch her. Keith is framed for the drunk girl, and Keith reveals that he is voting against Woody's incorporation bill. Gia receives a stalkerish tape. The drunk girl has disappeared, and Veronica invites Jackie and Wallace to the Alterna prom. Keith visits Terrence in the hospital. Veronica and Gia find out that the person videotaping them was Varsity Letterman driving a red pickup truck. Veronica votes no on incorporation. Keith's version of the story comes out and incorporation fails. Keith connects Gia's footage to the footage shot of Woody's house a few months earlier and deduces that Woody is hiding something. Logan recognizes a sketch of a suspect in a case. Gia starts ignoring Veronica because of the situation with their fathers. Veronica notices that the pickup truck belongs to Lucky the janitor. Veronica finds Gia and Lucky alone in the school building. Lucky pulls out a knife before Keith breaks in and arrests him. Sheriff Lamb comes in, but Lucky says that Woody had a good reason to be threatened. The Alterna prom starts, and Mac and Butters come to Mac's chagrin. Veronica jokingly confronts Madison about her relationship with Lamb, and Wallace and Jackie get a room. Veronica and Logan have a heart-to-heart talk, and Logan tears up. They are about to kiss, but Veronica says that she has to leave. Lucky is about to tell Keith more about Woody before Meg's father bails him out. There's a story in the newspaper about Terrence Cook cheating for money. Veronica visits Logan's hotel suite and apologizes. She says that she wants to give their friendship another try, but Logan has spent the night with Kendall, and Veronica walks away in disgust. So, what do we think about this episode?
It was interesting with a couple of concepts that they kind of went on, though. Either just with watching at the time or not paying too much attention, I was questioning a couple of people's actions. Like, I can't specifically remember why Mac was so concerned about the prom being canceled and being happy about it, and then being concerned about the alternative prom sort of happening, aside from the guy that was taking her out to the prom.
Yeah, no, that's the joke. It's because at one point, when the principal announces that prom is canceled, Mac is just like, prayer works! And then, of course, she ends up going with Butters, Butters, to the Alterna prom, which she is not thrilled about. Yes.
I think the one other thing that sort of came up in this episode probably doesn't have too much stake within the episode and never really happened, but the moment that all the students got into the elevator going down to the party was just like, oh god, is this going to be a random moment of someone causing an issue and putting all these kids in danger? But it didn't happen. It was like, oh, okay, I worried for nothing. But also, it would have been a decent idea.
That actually would have been too. Okay, so in terms of significance for our story arc, couple of important things here. So, Veronica learns that she has chlamydia, which that could be important.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. And again, when first hearing it, it's like, oh no, somebody's pranking her. But then when the legitness came up, I was kind of like, ooh. It makes sense, but still, ooh.
Keith helps Woody when he is found with a prostitute in his bed. Deputy Leo was hired to protect Gia, but Lucky was the actual stalker. He is about to tell Keith about stalking Gia and Woody, but Meg's father bails him out before he can say anything. Logan is about to kiss Veronica before she dashes off. Later that night, Logan sleeps with Kendall, and Veronica comes the next morning to apologize him, but when she finds out, she is distraught. So,
Yeah. Though it's honestly not too surprising, because Well, it's Bloody Logan, so
Yeah,
it's not too surprising.
yeah. Alrighty. Well, so next week we'll be discussing a little episode called Happy Go Lucky.
I highly doubt that.
Okay. In this episode, Aaron Eccles is put on trial for the murder of Lily Kane, and Veronica and Keith have to testify. Meanwhile, the pair learn that Woody has a very dark secret.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's oh boy. Uh, oh boy. Oh boy. These next two episodes are not necessarily super happy.
I knew it. The title was lying.
Oh, Dave, you have no idea how much it's lying to you.
Yeah.
It's gonna get bad, especially the next two episodes. But, um, yeah, there's no good way to kind of, yeah. Anyway, that will be next time. So if there's nothing else, I've been Paul.
And I've been Dave.